There are no more empty Friday nights after a 9-month layoff. High school football season in Nebraska is back with a ranked matchup at Buell Stadium on YurView on Game Time. Good evening and welcome to another season of high school football from Buell Stadium. It's a rivalry matchup across town, Millard West and Millard North. Hi everybody, along with John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp. We're excited to be back for another season of high school football on Game Time on YurView, and we kick it off with a dandy. John, last year, looking at Millard West, they went 9-2, but they have lost a lot of skilled players. But one thing is for sure, they still have a lot of meat up front.
They certainly do, Gary, and it starts and ends with Cole Aniello. He's going to be number 66 in your program. You're going to see a lot of him on both sides of the line. A big body. He's going to really be the driving force for this offense up front today. And on defense, he's going to have a lot of responsibility along that defensive line against this triple option attack for Millard North.
For Millard North, last year they were 5-5. They played a lot of sophomores. They had a lot of injuries. They have a much different roster this year. Those sophomores are now juniors, including one that was pretty multidimensional last year until he got injured.
Yeah, Matt Getzman is a guy that they're not only going to need him to perform on the field, but with a limited number of seniors on this roster, he's going to have to fill one of those vital leadership roles as well. Primarily a defensive player, you will see him mix in a little bit on offense. He'll be moved all over the place.
What a matchup to kick off a great season of high school football. Millard West and Millard North. It's coming up next on Game Time on YurView.
Game Time high school football action on YurView is presented by Iowa Western, the world is waiting, and by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for high school football.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Buell Stadium on the campus of Millard South High School. Millard West and Millard North tonight to kick off our season right here on Game Time on YurView, and a great crowd. A very muggy night. Kickoff temperature around 88 degrees, and the stands are packed like you would expect when you get north and west together, only separated by 6.2 miles. John Schreiner, I'm Gary Sharp, and our entire crew, they are fired up. We had rain showers earlier today here in the Omaha Metro, but they have cleared out, and summer has returned, and we kick off the season. John, a different season around Class A, because Class A has expanded. Now 32 teams, some schools that our viewers are very familiar with, like Elkhorn South, Gretna, all have made the move from B, where they were really, really good, into Class A.
Well, and we've seen this before. Elkhorn High School, no stranger to Class A. You remember back in the mid-2000s, they made the jump up to Class A, actually made it to a state tournament and won a game in the state playoffs when they did that. But, yeah, uncharted territory for some schools that are not used to seeing each other. Should be a fun one, Gary. We got some new faces.
We talked to Fred Petito, the longtime head coach of Millard North, as the Mustangs take the field. They're designated as the home team for this game. different vibe around this team. Last year, they were very, very young. They started at times 10 sophomores. They had a lot of key injuries in important spots, especially on offense. They went 5-5, which doesn't happen at Millard North. It's very rare they win less than 9 games, but they had a great offseason. They had a great fall camp, and he's very excited for his team to come out here in 2018, and so is Kirk Peterson. Last year they went 9-2. Kind of 9 wins is the familiar for both of these teams, and Kirk Peterson now in his 16th year. Successful. He has a state championship as well. And just a couple of years ago, these two teams met in the state final.
And Kirk Peterson wins 3 out of 4 times that he steps on the football field as a head coach. Just a phenomenal winning percentage for him. And as we know, Fred Petito, a fixture on the Omaha football scene for what seems like forever. You know, as much as things change with the players coming in and leaving, these two guys, Kirk Peterson and Fred Petito, absolute staples of the football programs here in Millard.
And both very staples at 2 of the better high schools in the state of Nebraska. We have a special event tonight. It is Be Kind. We'll tell you more about that as we go along. And stay tuned at halftime. We will chat with Millard Superintendent Jim Sufton. So you'll see the hashtag Be Kind throughout Buell Stadium here tonight. Last year, Millard West went 9-2. Millard North, as we alluded to, went 5-5. Both of these teams are used to playing in November in the postseason. So how much do you take out of week number 1? We've already seen a couple of games. Creighton Prep defeated the defending state champion North last night in this stadium. Millard South beat Gretna. But what do we expect in the opening game of the season that we won't see when we get midway through the year or when we get to the postseason, where Fred Petito has had great success?
Well, especially with these two teams that we're seeing tonight, Gary, inexperience is a big factor in tonight's game. So what you're going to see tonight are probably some mental errors. You might see some sloppy play. You might see the ball on the ground a little bit. But these coaches know how to develop players. It's the hallmark of their programs. So the things that you see tonight, you may not see later in the season. These teams both get better as the season goes on. Tonight is just an early test, not a barometer for the season.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. We got a fantastic schedule for you this year. We kick it off with the rivalry game. Millard North won the toss. They have deferred until the second half. So we will see Miles Whitaker, the place kicker for Millard North. He will kick off. And we are set for the 2018 season. It is game time on YurView. And we are underway. A short kickoff will be fielded by the up man. Taking the ball for Millard West is Benham, and he's out across the 40, eludes a couple of tacklers, wards him off, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And that's where we will get to see a relatively brand new Millard West offense. It'll be rare not to see Brody Belt in the backfield for Millard West, but they are built by their line up front that John alluded to in the pregame, and they will run behind those guys. But the one thing, the misnomer, is people think Millard West, Millard North, they think it's going to be a lot of running the football. We have seen even Fred Petito, they like to put it up, and don't be surprised if we see the ball in the air for Millard West. They start with a brand new quarterback. He is Nate Glantz, a 5'11", 170-pound junior, with 4 wide receivers. Lone man in the backfield is Wright. Beat him in motion, and the handoff to Wright. Cuts to his left, across midfield as he breaks 1 tackle, and he's knocked down to the 43, and that's a pickup of 7 yards of the opening carry of the season.
This is a favorite play of this Millard West offense. Just a little inside trap out of the shotgun. You get the ball into Wright's hands. You see the trap block come around. Wright bounces it back the other way. Breaks the tackle. Good gain on the first play of the season for the Wildcats.
Nice comfort level, John, when you're breaking in a brand new quarterback to have a running back like Jackson Wright.
Wright did see a little bit of time behind Brody Belt last season, so not totally inexperienced in the backfield.
Man in motion is Sullivan, and another handoff to Wright up the middle for minimal gain, maybe a yard or 2. Going to be 2nd down and 8. Both carries have gone to Jackson Wright, a 5'11", 200-pound senior. Millard West last year graduating experienced senior class. They went 9-2, returning 5 starters on offense. You look at Andrew Bednar, who will be involved in a lot of tackles, not only tonight, but throughout the entire season for Millard North from that linebacker spot. 2nd down and 8 as Glantz sets up his offense. 2 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. And now the tight end in motion. And a snap back to Glantz at his first pass. Deep down the sideline, and it is caught, and it will be a touchdown. Kaedyn Odermann pulls it in along the sidelines, and a 42-yard touchdown pass.
Well, just great separation on the back end by Odermann. They go up and make a play on the ball. Beats his defender to the spot. Well-placed throw by Nate Glantz. Just lays it out there and lets him run under it. What a first pass of the season for Glantz.
One completion, 42 yards, one touchdown. The extra point on the way. And just like that, it is 7-0 off the foot of Sam Fetty. On the third play of the season for Millard West, they go to the air and they scratch the scorecard first with a 42-yard touchdown pass from Nate Glantz to Kaedyn Odermann. That is junior to junior. So everything that Kirk Peterson told us and told you prior to this game, which there's a really good story up on YurView.com on Kirk Peterson. A little worried about that offense. Well, there's that familiar look. He turns his hat backwards once the game starts, and the 16th-year head coach of the Wildcats very, very happy, up 7-0 on the rival.
And the normally stern-faced Kirk Peterson was pretty chipper before the game down on the field, Gary. He was joking around with us and having a good time. So, I mean, he couldn't have been too worried about things coming into this one.
He's got a state title, 2008, runner-up in 2009, and then 2015. That was a game they lost to Millard North in the final. Kirk, in his 16th year, graduate of UNO, started as a defensive coordinator here at Millard West. The school has not been around for a while. 1995. Dan McLaughlin had fantastic success, so then Kirk Peterson took over, and he has continued Friday nights with Millard West and success. They have won a playoff game 6 straight years. And Sam Fetty, after converting the extra point, will kick off. You're just tuning in. A 42-yard touchdown pass from Nate Glantz to Kaedyn Odermann. 3 plays into the season has given the Wildcats a 7-0 lead. And we'll get to see Millard North on offense first, as Fetty's kick will go into the end zone. And once it goes into the end zone in high school, just to update you and refresh your memory, it is an automatic touchback. So we talk about a brand new quarterback, John, for Millard West. 1 attempt, 1 completion, 1 touchdown. New quarterback for Millard North, a quarterback that is healthy this year.
Yeah, Cam Wiemers, and we talked to Fred Petito ahead of this one. He said, looks good, tremendous athlete, got a ton of skill. Just needs to settle in and be a little bit more calm under center.
He was all Metro last year as a defensive back. And on the touchback, Wiemers will start his offense at the 20. You know Millard North, they will run their option offense. If you've not seen it, it's tough to prepare for. But these two teams play every year. And the handoff to the up man will gain about 5 yards on the opening carry. That is Andrew Bednar. A lot of very talented two-way players. You're going to look at the senior signal caller. And there is a long history of talented quarterbacks at Millard North. Not only quarterbacks that have gone on to win Heisman trophies like Eric Crouch did from Millard North to Nebraska, but those guys that maybe they wait their turn, John, and then they get it in their senior year, and the next thing you know, they're all Metro or even all state.
Well, that's just kind of next man up with Fred Petito on quarterbacks. He just has a stable of those guys, and he pointed out 2 freshmen down there ahead of this game that he said, oh, these guys are going to be players.
Wiemers is thrown down to the backfield. That was read all the way by Caleb Tay. And that'll bring up 3rd down and long for Millard North.
They see it right here. Wiemers tries the reverse out option, and Tay just in the backfield before Wiemers can even get the read. He's got to get that end to see him and read him to decide whether he's going to make the pitch or cut it up, but Tay just blew that thing up from the beginning.
A lot of unknowns about this Millard North team. They are ranked number 9 in the state, but again 5-5 last year. They do return some experience, 15 players. They went from being sophomores to juniors. 3rd down and 8, passing down for Millard North, down 7-0, just underway. Wiemers steps back, 3-step drop, pump fake, throws it deep down the field to an open wide receiver, but did he haul it in and bounce? And no. Getzman tried to straddle the boundary, but was out of bounds when he caught the ball, and it'll be 4th down and a 3-and-out for Millard North.
Yeah, just really good blocking up front. It was the left tackle, Ali'i Anian, got a massive pancake block to give Weimer's time to throw. Getzman couldn't quite haul it in.
Weimer's is also the punter, which there are advantages to that as the quarterback. 7-0 Millard West on a 42-yard touchdown pass. The Wildcats will get the football back right away. Snap back to Weimer, steps into it, and it was almost blocked. Coming in for it was Odermann, who has the touchdown reception. And on a bounce, fortuitous for Millard West, to go out of bounds at about the 48-yard line, and that is where the second possession of the season for the Wildcats will begin. Up 7-0. 7-0. Millard West leads Millard North from Buell Stadium. It is game time on YurView.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Our guys walking off the field. Soak it up. It's another Friday night. Week number 1 of 9 in the regular season. Millard West, Millard North. Millard West with their second possession. Their first possession lasted 3 plays and it ended in the end zone. Nate glanced to Kaedyn Odermann from 42 yards. Glance making his debut as a starter. Play action. Off the rush. His pass downfield is caught, and it is close to a first down. Emmerdirks, who is a key cog in this offense for Millard West, makes the catch, and it is a first down.
Keys to the game, new faces, new places. We talked about it. A lot of turnover on this roster for Millard West. Who shows up? Who fills that starting role best? On defense, inside backers. They're so key to stopping that inside dive against the triple option. And then QB decision making. So much of this offense is predicated on making checks at the line. It's going to be up to these quarterbacks, Glance and Gomez, to make good decisions.
Glance off to a really good start. He is 2 for 2. Moves the sticks now into Millard North territory. Jumping on the line, it looks like Millard North was drawn offside. And it will be a penalty as we get our first look at our referee tonight. Sean Johnson. 5-yard penalty on Millard North. So great start to the 2018 season for Millard West. We'll see Millard West again next week against number 1 Burke. We'll tell you more about that and our whole schedule as we move along through a beautiful night of football here at Buell Stadium. So all of a sudden it's first down and 5. Glance checks the sidelines as you get a good look at the junior signal caller making his debut. Hand off to Wright, trying to maneuver over the left side of the line. Bednar was first to hit him, and then he got help. And a pickup of about 4 yards for Jackson Wright.
Yeah, it looked like it was well blocked to play side, but Wright didn't quite have the confidence to just bang that up inside there. Tried to cut it back the other way where he didn't have any help. Dragged him down for a short gain.
Look at Noah Noel. Played really well last year. Game time night between Prep and Millard North. High snap. Keeping it is Glance, and he's got a lot of real estate in front of him. And he is thrown out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That's a pickup of 9. High snap kind of threw off the play, but he kept it. And he got a first down, and the sticks keep moving. And this is a good start for a Millard West offense. Now Millard North, now with the goal line at their back, they're going to have to dig in here a little bit, or they're looking at a big hole early on.
Yeah, and the start for this Millard North defense has been inauspicious at best, Gary. They just haven't looked like stopping this Millard West defense at all. And there you see the keys for Millard North. offensive output. Where are they going to get it? Lost the top running back, receiver, and quarterback from a year ago.
Huge hole for Wright, and he barrels his way for 10, close to another first down.
Another good run up inside. And it's Jackson Wright cutting back once again against the grain, finding real estate in the middle of the field against what we thought would be the strength of this Millard North defense with that defensive line.
Just short, so 2nd and inches. The ball on the 19-yard line. Millard West replacing Brody Belt, who ran for over 1,500 yards last year. Against the rush, Glantz eludes it, steps up. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and then spun down.
Well, I'm not sure. I'd like to have another look at that, because I don't know if it was a blitz or if they were trying to set up a screen and Glantz didn't quite read it appropriately. Let's take a look. And it's a blitz that comes, an overload blitz from that defensive right side, and Glantz just eludes it. There are 2 guys free to the quarterback. You got to get home on that.
A tackle by Matt Getzman. 3rd down and 2 as Glantz looks over a 4-man front. Fumbled the snap and then through the playoff, and then an option and a nice sidestep and a first down carry. Jackson Hazen. He eluded the tackler, did a little whoopsie-doo, and he's got a first down into the red zone.
And I don't think he has it unless he makes that move right there. Just about lost the snap, and right there, nice cutback. And Hazen picks up another first down, keeps the Millard West offense on the field.
Noah Noel had him. He's right in his sights to make the tackle and force a 4th down. But Hazen with the move, the first down, the ball's on the 14, and Millard West already up 7-0, driving halfway through the first quarter. Play action, rolling out. Glantz now throws it back. Wide open is Wright in the flat, and he'll get inside of the 10 before he collides with Kaedyn Kelly. What a great play call from the Millard West sidelines.
Yeah, they show naked bootleg and get the throw back to the running back who leaks out the backside, but all credit to Kaedyn Kelly. Didn't bite the fake, stayed at home, and made a play when he needed to save the touchdown.
Already 7-0 on a 42-yard touchdown pass from Nate Glantz, making his debut as Wright in the backfield with him. He's got 3 wide receivers to his left, and Millard North drawn offside again. This time, though, Sean Johnson. Legal procedure on Millard West, and that'll push him back 5 yards.
And a little flinch by the Millard North defense got Harmdirks to move out of his stance.
Week number 1, non-district game. We'll tell you more about the new Class A. For the first time in a quarter century, Class A has really a different look. 2 teams are in different districts. Now Glantz from the shotgun. 2nd down and 8. Right on his hip. Gives the ball to his running back, and he sidesteps a couple of tackles, and he's into the end zone. The slippery Jackson Wright from 12 yards out.
And there it is again. The play that they opened the game with, just ran it to the other side this time. Little inside trap. You see the guard come around, wall it off, and then Jackson Wright does the rest. Breaks 2 tackles. And good downfield blocking by Jackson Hazen. He picks up a first down in this drive and then blocks the defensive back downfield to spring his running back for 6.
And Fetty's right foot makes it 14-0. We've seen this Millard West type offense before. They've had the ball twice. They have scored twice in the rivalry between Millard West and Millard North. And Millard North now will have to respond on offense. They went 3 and out their first time. But I would say 2 series into his career as the starting quarterback, and we will see 2 quarterbacks tonight from Millard West. Nate Glantz has a great command of this offense, but again, it is easy to have a command of this offense when you have a running back like Jackson Wright.
Yeah, he looks good so far, and you know, as I said, we got some limited looks at him last year because Brody Belt was the bell cow for this Wildcat offense, but certainly Jackson Wright has picked right up where Brody Belt left off.
32 teams in Class A this year. 16 will make the playoffs. There are 6 districts. Then the winners of the districts get in. Then you have 10 teams that will enter, depending on the points system that the NSAA uses. Great crowd on both sides from the students. School has been in session for about a week and a half here in the Millard School District, and tonight is the #BeKind event. Very important to this entire school system, which is highly thought of. Both of these schools are in the top 5 in the state in terms of success in high school. And a muffed kickoff picked up at the 11. Now trying to make something out of it is Howard Phillips, and he'll get just out to the 20. That could have been in the major danger zone for Millard North. But Phillips made something of it, and at least the Mustangs will have some breathing room, and they need something good to happen. They're down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've got to get the ball at least out across midfield. And if not, putting points on the board, make Millard West work for it a little bit. But right now you're looking at things, and this game's starting to shape up the same way it did a year ago, Gary.
Check some of the key players on that Millard West defense that forced a 3-and-out. And Weimers at quarterback. It's down at 10 from the 22 and on the pitch. And a good pickup. Carrying the football was T.J. White. We'll call his name a lot tonight. We're going to look at that Millard West defense. And when your head coach is formerly a defensive coordinator, you know those guys are going to be stout, John.
Certainly, and that's where Kirk Peterson has made his name, is running that defense. And if you go to practice today, you won't see him down working with the backs and receivers. He sticks down with those defensive linemen, and that is a major focus for him on this Millard West staff.
White with a pickup of 4. Hand off to the up man, and good yardage. And that's a first down as Bednar weaves his way for 16 yards. The first down of the night for Millard North. We've always talked about this. We've seen Millard North a lot. This is our 5th year together. That nose guard on defense, especially with that quick handoff to the up man in this offense, boy, good luck.
Yeah, they get taxed, and if you pick a direction and try to shoot a gap, you're going to be in big trouble. You got to just play that thing head up and try to find the ball carrier if you're playing that nose against this offense.
So a little breathing room for Millard North, down 2 scores, their first down. And here's Bednar again, but he's tripped up on an ankle tackle by Trey Wilbeck. Could have been much more. It's 5. Second down and 5 for the Mustangs, who are the home team. This is a shared stadium, a beautiful facility that is going to continue to undergo some renovations. Millard South High School is where the stadium is located, but all 3 public high schools here in Millard use this stadium. Last night, Millard South defeated Gretna to begin the season, as you get a good look at the stadium, and a lot of blue and a lot of white in attendance. Great turnout tonight. Stadium seats 7,500. Nearly every seat is full. We see overflow seating. Bednar with a 3rd straight carry, and he is hit in the hole. Loses his helmet as he goes backwards. And it'll be 3rd down and medium distance. As Jackson Unger introduced himself to Andrew Bednar.
That was a great job by that defensive line. They got walled off and gashed a play ago. This time stood strong, held their gaps, and let those linebackers flow. This is what I was talking about in the keys. Linebacker play so important for Millard West tonight. Those defensive linemen have to occupy blocks, and the backers have to flow to the ball.
And Unger playing the Mike linebacker spot. Such a great story. He's undergone 2 ACL surgeries. 3rd down and 5. Weimers keeps it, and he'll be well short of the first down. He did not fool anybody as Millard West controlled the line of scrimmage. First to meet him was Caleb Tay. And Millard North will be forced to punt for their 2nd straight possession.
A little better position to punt from this time around. Got a chance to pin the Wildcats deep.
Garrett Kennedy was late getting on the field as the deep man for Millard West. And the Wildcats are forced to take a timeout. They did not have the right personnel out there on 4th down. So Kirk Peterson out on the numbers on the field. He's not happy. He's a point as you get a look at him. And it's game 1, so the special teams part, that you figure out guys who are on the team. Don't try telling Coach Peterson that, boy. Yeah, now he's talking to his special teams coach, talking to his players. This isn't game 1 for him. This is Millard North to him.
Well, one of the things that makes him such a successful coach is just, you can see it, how much he cares about every little detail. Everything matters. And when you get a guy like that who has a district that's laden with talented players and a demanding coach, it's a great recipe for success. And that has been the keys for Kirk Peterson over the years.
Wiemers to punt again. Odermann is back at the 15. Wiemers will snap it from the Millard North 49. Back at the 35-yard line. 14-0 Millard West. A 42-yard touchdown pass and then a 12-yard touchdown run by Jackson Wright. Still in the first quarter. Snap back. Wiemers steps into it. Pretty good punt here. As it will bounce the 17 and it will roll deep inside Millard West territory. So now it's up to the defense, which has been on the field twice and has allowed 2 touchdowns. Millard West will take over at the 11-yard line. That is a 40-yard punt.
And it looks like they're going to run out that same offensive unit plus a new quarterback, Tristan Gomez,
whose brother Colby was a great baseball player for Millard West. Steve Fry's fantastic program, spring and summer. Colby is at Nebraska on a baseball scholarship after completing his eligibility. Now his younger brother takes his first snap of high school, and he will be sacked. Jackson Creek brought down Gomez.
It's only one play, Gary, but I'm going to go ahead and diagnose this right here. What we saw from Nate Glantz was decisiveness. He was one hitch and get rid of the ball right here. Gomez just rethought it, and it was a hitch too long.
Gomez is 6'4", 195. Both signal callers for the Wildcats are juniors. That is a loss of 6. Glantz standing on the goal line, hands it off to Wright. He's got a lot of room over the right side. Jackson Wright down the sidelines near midfield, and he will be knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line. He goes 46 yards.
Well, so much for being pinned deep. After the sack, it looked like Millard North's defense was in business, but right there comes the wham block on the outside. Perfectly read by Jackson Wright, and then it's a foot race.
I think for the first game you were awful subtle on the wham block, because usually you put a lot of
just getting warmed up. Don't want to pull a hammy, Gary.
14-0 Millard West. Wright's big carries already got a touchdown. Gives the young quarterback, who flips the ball in his hand, pump fake, eludes Bednar, but cannot elude the second wave of Mustangs. Loses a couple of yards.
Now he's just got to get rid of the ball. When he sees it, he just doesn't. He looks like he doesn't have confidence in getting the ball out there. We've seen it on both pass attempts for Gomez, where he draws the ball back and then pulls it down.
Nate Glantz. Now Tristan Gomez. 2 quarterbacks. Peterson said both would play. They both have played here in the first quarter. 14-0 Millard West. Glantz is at quarterback for the 2 touchdown drives. Gomez will put it up. He's got a big arm, and he throws it to elude another sack and throws it wide of the intended wide receiver, and it'll be 3rd down and long.
And pressure came right in his face. He wasn't able to get his feet set, trying to throw that one on the move, and he's lucky he got it out there far enough, because there was a linebacker lurking in there.
In your screen, Get a glimpse of Jackson Creek for a moment. Dustin LaPierre. John has talked about Millard North. The strength is that interior defensive line. And now they'll pin their ears back. 3rd down and 12 with a young quarterback. They got 4 on the line of scrimmage. Gomez barks out the signals. He's got 4 wide receivers. And he has to elude pressure again. LaPierre, Creek, down goes Gomez.
Looked like they were trying to get a middle screen set up here, Gary, and Gomez just unable to get rid of it.
You see Mitchell coming free, just disrupted everything. So after that long run by Wright to get Millard West into better territory, they can't do anything with it, and they will have to punt the football for the first time tonight. Trey Wilbeck stands at his own 30-yard line, and a timeout is taken by Millard North. I think Fred Petito, native of Chicago, now in his 35th season as the head Mustang. Didn't like his personnel out there, so he calls time, and you get a look at Fred Petito. He is one of our favorites. He's a favorite throughout the Metro. He thought he was going to be a Chicago cop, and then he left Chicago and went to play football at Hastings College in Central Nebraska. As they like to say, the rest is history. Started at Omaha Cathedral, 1979. He's done a plethora of things and looks great. He's 66 years old, and yes, he still runs 2.5 to 4 miles a day. You know it's football season, especially camp season. If you go and watch Millard North practice, Fred's out there. He's got his muscle shirt on, and you would never know that he's 66 years old. He loves being around his team. He loves this program. He is loved in the community, not only in Millard, but throughout Omaha and the state of Nebraska. Why not? He has had unbelievable success. 303 victories. He's one of the all-time winningest coaches. And he has got a long, long list of players that have gone on to bigger and better things in college. Wilbeck, left-footed punt. And a fair catch by Getzman. He scrambles to haul it in at the 23-yard line. So with 23 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Millard North have had a 3-and-out and then a drive that stalled at midfield, down 14-0. Matt Getzman comes off the field. That's one of those injuries last year, John, with a young team. Matt Getzman was one of those youngsters, and he was one of their better players, got injured, and there was nobody behind him to step forward like we've seen in the past with Millard North. And thus you had an up-and-down season where Millard North finished 5-5. It was only the second time in 6 years that Millard North had not won 9 games in a season.
Well, and then you had other injuries too. They were depending a lot on Noah Mick, who was back for a big season. They were hoping, and he missed a lot of time with some ankle and foot issues. So that offense was just a mash unit all of last season and never really got settled.
The play clock has expired. A little delay of game on Millard North. 25-second clock is in both end zones, so Weimers was looking right at it. That'll cost Millard North 5 yards. That's our 3rd penalty of the first quarter. A look inside of the Millard North huddle. Weimers, 6'1", 180, a senior. He's part of, I guess you'd call it, a very special position in high school football in Nebraska. And that's the quarterback at Millard North. And this carry is for a couple of yards. Not much for Tyler Ross. And this looks like it'll be the final play of the first quarter. And what a first quarter for Millard West. Nate Glantz at his debut. His first pass goes for a touchdown. Jackson Wright adds a 12-yard run, and that's where we're at. After one quarter, Millard West 14, Millard North nothing. You're watching Game Time on YurView.
Okay, it's decision time. I want flexibility, more doing, hands-on experience, and working sooner. I gotta make a choice. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
Start of the second quarter. Weimer's going deep, and he completes the pass. And into the end zone. Touchdown. Brian Raffiner.
Well, that's one way to change the fortunes.
But they're going to bring it back and say he stepped out of bounds. The 41-yard line. It is a pickup of 39. The biggest play so far for Millard North as we get a look.
Well, it's a good throw under pressure. A good body adjustment to make that catch by Raffiner, and he did. A toe right on the line. Good spot by our camera.
Best field position of the night for the Mustangs, down 2 scores. As Weimer's completes the pass, Ross directly behind him. And a flag as Weimer's takes the snap.
Everybody but the center on that one.
And Joe Petito, who is Fred's son, he's on his staff. He was not happy with his offensive lineman there. That'll be a penalty on Millard North. They'll push him back 5 yards. 14-0. Millard West leads Millard North in the season opener. All across the state of Nebraska. A couple of games last night. And a full slate from east to west, north to south here in the Cornhusker State tonight. Some really good matchups in the Metro. Keep you abreast of as we move along on a beautiful night for football from Buell Stadium. Weimer's fumbled the snap, picks it up, and he is not going anywhere. Maybe a yard. Jackson Unger wouldn't let him go. He had him wrapped up around the ankle.
That's maybe just a little bit of that composure that Fred Petito talked to us about. Weimer's pulled out from the center just a bit quickly there, anticipating the snap, and didn't quite secure it.
This week on YurView's high school football recruiting podcast, Over the Middle, as we kick off the season. Second year we've done this. Jeremy Crabtree back with us, catches up with recruiting expert Max Olson. He'll run down Texas recruiting, the SEC, Alabama, Georgia, and Jason Brown, just to name a few. All that and more on this week's podcast. Check it out on YurView.com. Nothing happening for the Mustangs, and they're going to face a 3rd and long.
After giving up the big gain, this Millard West defense has shown up and jammed up the middle, not allowing that fullback dive to get any momentum. And what a bad break for Millard North. It looked like they were going to put points on the board and be right back in this thing, and now with a 3rd and about 13, staring down another punt.
People don't know is you're one of the best television offensive coordinators. Because you're not going to get fired. 3rd down and 12. What do you do here?
I think you got to put it in the air.
They will put it in the air, and it'll be picked off. Intercepted by Gabe Anderson. First turnover of the night. And Millard West will get it in really good field position, up 2 scores.
2 defenders in the area, and that wasn't the biggest problem with the play. It was a short arm throw that came up well short. Pressure in his face, but boy, that was left about 10 yards short by Weimer's.
So after the big pass, the receiver stepped out of bounds. Millard North can't do anything with it. Now Millard West up 14-0. Both scores on their first 2 drives. Tristan Gomez will stay in at quarterback. Nate Glantz got the first 2 series, and this is the second series for Gomez. 4 wide receivers. Wright is the lone setback. Snap back to Gomez. 3-step drop. Throws it deep down the field to the intended wide receiver, and it is broken up. He wanted Garrett Kennedy. That play seemed to be a little off kilter from the start as he flew into double coverage.
And that's Getzman, the player we highlighted in the open, coming across from that free safety spot to break up that pass. Good play by Getzman to read it from center field and come over.
Millard West. Peterson said they changed some of their offseason training, make them a better football team. And you get later in the season and hopefully playing in November in the postseason. 2nd down and 10. Gomez will throw it again. He slings it out to the far side, and it is caught. Sliding across the turf. Harmderry, or excuse me, Alice Beanham makes the catch. The pickup of just a couple of yards. 3rd down and long. Here on a very, very muggy night at Buell Stadium, we have our first cramping issue of the night.
Yeah, he kind of figured on a night like this, it's just going to sap the moisture out of your body. There was bound to be some cramping issues. We usually see it in the first game of the week.
Are you looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today on your career path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting as we kick off another season of high school football throughout the Omaha area. Game time on YurView. We're excited to welcome back our partners, Iowa Western. It's not a cramping issue. It is a leg issue on the injury. Jack Henry will be helped to the sidelines. So a new defensive end will enter the game for Millard North. 14-0. But now 3rd down and 8. Gomez has put it up previous down, so throw for the 3rd straight down. He's under pressure again. Completes the pass. It will not be enough for a 1st down. He found Jackson Hazen. And it'll be 4th down out near midfield. Kirk Peterson will elect to punt the football.
I don't know if they've seen something on this Millard North sideline, but it seems like they're sending a lot more pressure at Tristan Gomez and getting in his face. He hasn't had a lot of time to set his feet and make quality throws. Good on this Millard North staff of recognizing it and sticking with it.
Man late getting on the field. That's Gomez. And then Millard North has somebody late getting on the field and a delay on Millard West. May have been one of those penalties where Kirk Peterson isn't going to be overly upset. Upset maybe that he didn't have 11 on the field, but Gomez is out there now as Trey Wilbeck, the left-footed junior punter for Millard West, will punt it away again. Getzman back at the 25 as Wilbeck sends it away. And fair catch. Getzman lets it go over his head. It'll bounce inside of the 15-yard line, and it will roll to the 10-yard line. So with 8:38 to go in the first half, Millard North down 2 touchdowns will take over the football, and they have not been able to manage great field position, and when they have out near midfield, they haven't been able to go much further.
1st and 10 Mustangs from the 10.
Millard North offense has been running inside almost exclusively up to this point. We've seen the speed sweep just once to this point. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would expect that you're going to see some outside run game that they've been setting up on this series.
Welcome everybody throughout the U.S. joining us tonight. Any yards on the ground tonight, as Andrew Bednar carries the football, are going to be difficult yards. You're going to take a hit. Patrick Connor Carroll makes the hit on Bednar. And it also, the offense hasn't changed much in what Millard North runs. So when you see him every year, you're very familiar on the kind of option game you're going to see. And a lot of it is timing. And when you have some young guys, you know, John, it's not real crisp at the beginning of the season.
Millard North is notorious for being a team that, if you're going to see them, you want to see them early in the year, because come late October, early November, they are not a bunch you want to run into, because they have got that, all the kinks are ironed out. That machine is well oiled and firing on all cylinders.
Bednar with 4, and it is 3rd down and 3. The Mustangs have to get to the 20-yard line. Millard West scored on their first 2 possessions, nearly halfway through the second quarter. Week number 1. Those Friday nights that you had nothing to do. Well, now we are your entertainment for the next 9 Fridays. Bednar fumbled the football, and then it squirts free, recovered by Millard North, but they're going to be forced to punt. Jackson Powers, the offensive lineman, got on the ball. That's a huge break for Millard North. Now, granted, they're going to have to punt the football, but you turn it over there, and you might be looking at turning out the lights before we get to halftime.
That was hearts and throats for everybody in blue and silver. Powers fortunately fell on it.
Joe Petito on the sidelines, showing his dad, this is what we can do. And his offense comes back to the sideline. Coaches will meet with the personnel and try and figure out this Millard West defense. Weimers will punt the football again. He's standing on his own goal line. Gotta have a good snap here. It is a good snap, and he quickly gets it away. The punt out near midfield. Kennedy will trail it and watch it bounce at midfield and trickle over the boundary. So right at midfield is where Millard West will take over with 6:17 to go in the first half. 14-0 Millard West. Next week we will see Millard West again. They will take on the preseason #1 Omaha Burt Bulldogs. 14-0. Millard West leads Millard North. We'll tell you more about the #1 team in Class A when you return after this. It's game time on YurView.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com. You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
Great crowd on hand to kick off the season. Another year of high school football. Next week, we'll see Millard West again against the #1 team in the state for the second straight year, preseason #1, the Burt Bulldogs, which feature the 2 top players in the state. One is a Nebraska verbal commitment, linebacker Nick Henrich. The other, tight end Chris Hickman, who is being quoted by all kinds of top-notch Power 5 schools. We're really looking forward to seeing the Burt Bulldogs, their head coach Paul Lamanji, and many more coming up next week. Jackson Wright is stood up right at the line of scrimmage as Nate Galance is back in the game as the quarterback for Millard West after engineering 2 touchdown drives.
Well, that's a good sign for this Millard North front. They've been honestly beaten up on the inside by that trap play. Got a good stop right there on first down. Bring up a 2nd and long.
Fred Petito in his 35th year, head coach of Millard North, walking up and down the Mustangs sideline. Loss of 1 for Wright. He glances at his 3 wide receivers to his right. Snap back to him, and he'll put it up under pressure out of the backfield, and Wright had the ball skip off his fingertips. And it'll be 3rd down and long. And it would have been interesting if Wright caught that ball. Kaedyn Kelly, who's a sure-handed tackler, was right there.
Well, it only took you a quarter and a half to get the name pun in there, Gary. So welcome to the 2018 season.
Thank you. We have, as we go along, we hope you all are with us for all 9 Fridays. You have a bingo card at home, and there are certain things that we check off.
We got, yeah. And sometimes you get games where you just fill up the bingo card in the first half.
Unexpected.
Unexpected.
Yeah, 3rd down and 11 out near midfield. Hard count by Glantz, and a quick snap back to him. Steps up into the pocket. He's got some room to run. He's looking towards the 1st down. Now he's slowed up. He escaped Kelly, but then he's hauled down from behind. Hit hard by Jackson Creek, who has had a good first half for Millard North. And that'll force possibly a Millard West punt. But they are right now at the Millard North 46. It'll be 4th and 6. And Kirk Peterson will elect to punt the football as we near the 5-minute mark left in the first half. 14-0 Wildcats, John.
Yeah, I know he didn't make the tackle on the last play, but again, Kaedyn Kelly coming inside out, forcing that cutback to where he had help, allowing Jackson Creek to make that play. That's fundamental linebacker play. Great job to break that up.
Kirk Peterson sends out Trey Wilbeck, and his punt is short. It rolls. It may have been touched. Getzman muffed it. Did he get back on top of it at the 12-yard line? I think he thought it skipped off his teammate. Coming out of the fray with the football is Brock Wyman, and now the stripes come together to decide whose football it is. Got this guy. Now one team's pointing one way, the other team's pointing the other way. 3 officials are in the middle.
I don't know how you can make any decision but Millard West football here.
As you see, they got some Millard West players that in their future career would like to be officials. They're pointing towards the end zone. Now Sean Johnson says that it is Millard North football, so a break for the Mustangs, down 2 scores. If we get a chance to look at this replay, I think you're going to see why Getzman thought, oh, I got to jump on top of the ball.
Well, here's where it's going to take the skip. Getzman's on it there, but there's still a battle going on. And look, right there, pulled out of the pile. But you can't see what's happening under there. Most of the time, the official will go with the aftermath. Whoever's got the ball at the end, that's who gains possession, but a very surprising decision to say the least right there.
Great camera work by our crew. Kind of had a reunion before tonight's game. Fred Petito, boy, he's breathing a sigh of relief. He needs something here with 4:39 to go in the first half. He wants his tempo to pick up a bit. Down 2 scores. Weaver's at quarterback. The toss to Getzman, and he is hauled down behind the line of scrimmage. There is a flag on the play. That play was read perfectly by Dane Christensen, but we'll see if it matters. The flag immediately left the pocket of Sean Johnson. That'll be a penalty on Millard North.
I think you declined this one, and Kirk Peterson waving his hands on the far sideline, so this one will be declined. You're going to get a look at Dane Christensen coming in. He was one of the most improved players on this team. Did some good work in the weight room. You see the strength right there.
One thing you know every single night against Millard West is you're going to go up against some of the more physical and strongest players in the Metro. 2nd down and 14 after the penalty is declined. As pinballed in the hole was Ross. Minimal yardage. Now Millard North once again is looking at 3rd down and long. They need another one of those big plays. As Millard West with a stop, they're going to get the ball back with plenty of time here in the 2nd quarter. And Fred Petito's looking for the right combination. He marches up and down his sidelines. There's great pictures by our crew. We're so excited for another season of high school football. We got a fantastic schedule. The snap fumbled by Weimers, picks it up, and he's going the wrong way. He had no help from his men up front once the ball was on the carpet here at Buell Stadium. And the big loss is all the way back to the 3-yard line.
I want to see if this is on Wiemers or if it's on the center. And yeah, Wiemers, he pulls out a little too quickly, got his head up, never secured the ball before he came away from the center quarterback exchange. And again, Fred Petito told us Wiemers is talented, but he needs to be calm. Didn't quite settle in on that series.
Great athlete last year. He had 72 tackles from his defensive back spot. He was all Metro. And now he punts from his end zone, nearly on the back line. He's got to get a good punt here. Out at the 40 is Gary Kennedy. And the rush was coming from Millard West. The ball bounces over the head of Kennedy. He'll track it down to the 45. Now it's a foot race as he turns it upfield. And he is brought down with authority by Tyler Runnels at the 39-yard line. Oh, wow. On both ends, John. The punt almost blocked. And then Kennedy had it bounce over his head. Fortunately, on this nice carpet, he was able to pick it up and got good yardage. This is a matchup of two top 10 teams in the preseason. Millard West, number 7, Millard North, number 9. Wildcats up by 2 scores, and those happened in their first 2 possessions. We talked about Burke. Last night, Omaha North, the defending Class A champion. They lost to number 3, Creighton Prep, 12-7. Kearney, who was in the A final last year but lost to the Vikings, is 4. Bellevue West and that offense 5. We'll tell you the other 5 in just a moment. Here's Wright with another big pick up down the sidelines with a blocker in front of him to the end zone. Touchdown. From 40 yards, Jackson Wright with the second score of the night.
Just doing it every which way, this Millard West offense, through the air, on the ground, up the middle to the outside. They have been all over this Millard North defense here in this first half, and that is just an absolute breakdown up front. And Jackson Wright does the rest once he breaks into the second level.
Kaedyn Odermann was downfield working as a pest, and that allowed Wright to rip down the right sideline into the end zone for the second time tonight. Fetty's PAT is up, and it is 21-0 in favor of Millard West. The quick strike offense tonight. A glance to Odermann, touchdown pass, and now Jackson Wright's second touchdown carry. Has the feel a little bit of a game we did last year to open up the season between these two teams, where Millard West won big. Now Millard North, with just 2:45 to go in the first half. They need something positive on offense. Well, they have been able to, the majority of their snaps have been in the shadow of their own goal line. They might have to put it up here because their running game has been neutralized by Millard West.
They need something more than just something positive, Gary. They need a touchdown before they head to the halftime locker room, because if you go in now down 21-0, you just got no momentum coming out of there. If you can get one back here before you head in, you got something to look at on the scoreboard that's not a goose egg. You might feel a little bit better, and then you're just 2 scores away from being back in it.
Hey, are you interested in an exciting career in media studies? Would you like to be like John and myself?
Maybe.
You can check out the opportunities in TV, radio, and sports promotions at Iowa Western. Go online at iwcc.edu, preferably after the game is over, not like right now. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. We are waiting for the Millard North offense. 21-0 in favor of Millard West. Jackson Wright is introducing himself to our game time audience. Fetty's kickoff into the muggy nighttime air is hauled in. The 1-yard line by Carter. Check that. Gabriel Terry returning it. And he'll get across the 15 just to the 17-yard line. Now, Millard West has 2 timeouts. They have Millard North pinned deep. Up 3 scores. John Johnson, our referee. So glad to see not only the familiar faces on our crew, but all the familiar men and women that are out officiating. Big thanks to all they do. They're big help on our broadcast. Holding on the kickoff, it is on Millard North.
Yeah, that one hurts.
This first half probably can't get over soon enough for Fred Petito to get in that locker room and make some adjustments.
I just, you know, as you said, ghosts of last year, 49-16, when these two squared off in week 2. Hasn't looked much better than that through the first half for Millard North.
It's a big penalty. That'll push the ball all the way back to the 8-yard line. Again, Millard West with 2 timeouts. Kirk Peterson's been in this game long enough to know that you cannot score enough against Millard North. So we'll see if he gets a stop here or two that takes a timeout. Weimers looks over the offense. Got Bednar directly behind him. 3 wide receivers out. Quarterback keeper sidestepping a tackle, but not the second one, as he is rodeoed down by Nicholas Putter.
And so far on offense, the thing I would say, Gary, that's a little uncharacteristic, this offensive line just isn't getting to that second level and moving those linebackers out. You see those backers for Millard West, they're making a ton of plays around the line of scrimmage. And those offensive linemen for Millard North have to get off those defensive linemen, get downfield, and make a block so that these backs have some room to go.
And on the toss play, good yardage, maybe enough for a first down. TJ White, one of his rare carries here in the first half, and he does have a first down. So it's a positive for Millard North, and also it probably wipes Millard West off the board from taking a timeout.
Haven't really seen outside run game too much. Just the second one of those speed sweeps tonight. Mostly been between the tackles for the Mustangs.
Big lineman up front coming into your picture. Jackson Creek. I'll tell you more about Be Kind at halftime. Really cool event here at Millard Public Schools. First down and 10 from the 18. And the ball is on the turf, and it is recovered by Millard North. They caught a break, a major break.
And that was incredibly fortunate.
Ball recovered by 59 Jackson Powers.
Clock will go under a minute to go.
2nd and 7.
Jackson Wright, a couple of touchdown runs for Millard West. And on the fumble recovery, picked up 3 yards. Bednar runs into a host of white jerseys, maybe 2 or 3 yards over the left side. As the clock ticks down, Millard North may elect to just go into the locker room down 21-0. Special halftime coming up from Buell Stadium. More on the Be Kind program. Special event on the field that we will bring to you. Millard North will hustle up to the line of scrimmage. I'm kind of surprised they're going to run a play here. We'll see if they get it off. And they will not. And probably a good thing, because the ball was dropped on the center quarterback exchange. And that's how the first half ends for Millard North. What a first half, John, for Millard West. They score on their first 2 possessions, and then here in the second quarter, a 40-yard touchdown run by Jackson Wright. They are up 21-0.
And every one of those directed by Nate Glantz. The offense took a little bit of a step back, I'd say, when Gomez came in. He made a couple of nice plays, but Glantz has clearly been the better in directing this offense downfield. And wow, what a coming out party for Jackson Wright in the first half that he's had.
These are 2 of the more veteran coaches and coaching staffs. There'll be adjustments at halftime. 21-0 as Kirk Peterson leads his team off the field. Nate Glantz, making his debut, has led those 3 scoring drives. Iowa Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Come to campus, study online, or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. As we get set, we will take you down to the field where Millard Superintendent Dr. Jim Sutphin, who will join us up here at our broadcast location after we are finished. Let's go down to the field to learn more about the fantastic Be Kind program with the Millard Public Schools.
It has been a great day in our city, and tonight we celebrate #BeKind. I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge the Board of Education who are here this evening. I can't thank them enough for the service they provide our community. President of the board, Mike Pate. Vice President Lynn Poole, Treasurer Dave Anderson, Board Member Mike Kennedy, and Board Member Stacy Jolly. Also joining us this evening is Executive Director of the Millard Public Schools Foundation, who made all of the hashtag #BeKind possible, Angela Pasquale. Kindness is an action. It costs nothing and pays huge dividends to both the giver and the receiver. It creates ripples across the water that has a lasting impact on the life of another person.
And you just never know how far your act of kindness will go. It is my pleasure to welcome a person who loves the city of Omaha and has been instrumental in the Be Kind movement. Will you please help me welcome the Honorable Mayor, Gene Stothert.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the City of Omaha, I would like to read a proclamation. Whereas, in our instant world, it is far more common to complain, to criticize, to rush to judgment, and to embarrass others than it is to be kind. And whereas, we need leaders of every age to know the right thing to do. It just takes someone to rise to the occasion when they see a need. The superintendents of the Millard and Ralston school districts saw the need and developed the simple yet important message to be kind. And whereas the Omaha metropolitan area is a kind and compassionate community and frequently named one of the friendliest communities in the country, we value kindness, respect, trust, tolerance, and acceptance. And whereas a stronger, healthier community free of bullying and harassment that embraces diversity at all levels is achievable if we all commit to be kind. And whereas we can all take action to be kind in big ways and small, to make a difference in our city, our schools, our neighborhood, and our community. Whereas metropolitan mayors, our law enforcement professionals, and first responders support the Be Kind campaign and encourage everyone to embrace the message and look for opportunities to share acts of kindness. Now, therefore, I, Gene Stothert, Mayor of the City of Omaha, do hereby proclaim August 24th, 2018 as Be Kind Day. Thanks, everyone, and be kind.
Huge dividends, an open invitation to each and everyone. It's the power of the collective impact that can permeate through our community. We will talk to Dr. Sutphin here in a moment. Halftime at Buell Stadium in the rivalry game to kick off the 2018 season. Millard West leading 21-0 over Millard North.
The Gigablast Halftime Show, powered by Cox, is presented by Iowa Western, The World is Waiting, and by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for high school football.
Okay. It's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
You get a look at the Class A state championship dance team from Millard North on the field here at Buell Stadium. We are at halftime on the Game Time on YurView Game of the Week to kick off the season. Millard West leads Millard North 21-0. Busy halftime and really an exciting halftime all around the Millard Public Schools. You saw Omaha Mayor Gene Stothert make the proclamation that today is Be Kind Day in Millard, and we are pleased to be joined now in his 5th year as the superintendent of the 3rd largest school district in the state of Nebraska, and a school district that is highly acclaimed, Dr. Jim Sutphin. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us. And a big day. Tell us a little bit more about what's behind Be Kind.
Yeah, so we started working on hashtag Be Kind, recognizing that we tell kids all the time what not to do. We wanted to focus on telling kids what to do, to talk and turn it into a positive message. That this is how you make friends, and this is how you do awesome things for other individuals. So you're paying it forward.
Jim, my question is, why now? What was the genesis of this idea, and why did you want to bring it out at this point in time?
So Mark and Joni Adler in the Ralston Public Schools suffered a tragic loss in their son. And being friends with Mark, we went to him and said, listen, we would like to join you with hashtag Be Kind, have an opportunity to join our school districts. And then as we began to talk, we decided to ask other school districts, and then we approached the mayor's office, and before we knew it, it was just everywhere. And it's the right time, it's the right thing to do for our kids today.
And we see a lot of involvement as we see a couple in the stands here at Buell Stadium. They've got the T-shirts on. Everybody's talking about it. It's an exciting time because school has started again, but also an exciting time for you and your entire staff because once again, Millard South, Millard North, Millard West, the high schools are receiving high honors from around their peers in this state of their success of not only the quality of teachers that are in the hallways and in the classrooms, but developing students throughout their 4-year career and then moving them on to college.
Yeah, we are so blessed. It is all about the partnership with the home and the school. We have fantastic teachers and administrators, and we got fantastic families, and we're all about our kids. We're all about getting our kids ready for the next level of their life so that they can live out their dreams.
How do you work with, and we've seen the Millard area just expand. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of families that want to move to this area because the quality of the schools. As you look down the road, as I mentioned, you're in your 5th year as the superintendent, what's the next thing for the Millard Public Schools as you look to expand and keep those opportunities out there?
So right now we're in the middle of a technology integration where we've just moved to a 1-to-1 6 through 12. It's creating anytime, anywhere learning that's individualized and personalized for our kids. That will be rolling down into the 5th grade and 4th grade and then the 3rd grade. We're also looking at how we begin to continue to bring community resources to our kids.
Doctor, we appreciate you stopping by. As we mentioned earlier, you can't lose tonight. You got the great Be Kind program that we are seeing everywhere here on our screens and throughout Buell Stadium. But Millard's going to win tonight, so you're good.
Thank you. We're very proud of the school district. Thank you.
That's Dr. Jim Sutphin, the superintendent of the Millard Public Schools on Be Kind Night. Hashtag Be Kind. Now we listen in to the pride of the Mustangs, the Millard North Marching Band. 21-0 at halftime. Millard West leads Millard North. Back with more at halftime from YurView Stadium. This is Game Time on YurView.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
Crosstown showdown to kick off the season, and Millard West out to a 21-0 lead at halftime. YurView Stadium. The Reavers are back in action this season. You can follow Iowa Western's championship sports teams, including football and volleyball. Stay up to date at GoReavers.com. The number 2 ranked Reaver football team won last night at Coffeyville. Volleyball off to a great start among the other fall sports. At Iowa Western, the world is waiting.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
What a beautiful night for football. We're at halftime where Millard West leads Millard North 21-0. That is not our broadcast position. We have a little bit better view inside of Buell Stadium. But on a muggy evening, a packed stadium, the Be Kind campaign in full effect here in the Millard Public Schools, and West and North meeting on the field. Let's take a look at some of the halftime stats. Millard West led by Jackson Wright, who has 2 touchdowns on the ground, 124 yards rushing, 60 through the air, 184. But that defense, John, has really been the story as well for Millard West.
They gave up the one big pass play down the near sideline there early in the second quarter that could have turned into a touchdown if not for a toenail out of bounds by Brian Raffiner. But yeah, you said it. They have been so solid up the middle, which is where that Millard North offense loves to run the ball, between the tackles with the fullback and the quarterback. And they've just been really great up front.
Second half kickoff is coming up next. It's game time on YurView.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Tonight's Game Time Player of the Game is brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
Halftime festivities wrapping up here at Buell Stadium, where Millard West, behind 2 rushing touchdowns from Jackson Wright, they lead Millard North 21-0. Again, a big thanks to Millard Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Jim Sutphin joining us here at halftime, the Be Kind program. And people are wondering, we're getting tweets and emails, and people are stopping by our broadcast position wondering how you can get involved. All you have to do is spread kindness, be intentional, and take it to your personal sphere of influence. Practice random acts of kindness. Fill your social media with kind acts you witness of others. And you can follow us on our social media accounts as well. This is week 1. It is 1 of 9 in the regular season. We've got a fantastic schedule for you. Next week, Millard West and Burke. Week number 3, Bellevue West, their high-flying offense against Brooklyn La Vista South. A game that everybody on the crew is really looking forward to, because there will be some Division I talent on the field, plenty of it. Burke and North But that rest of the slate, John, those are all teams you're going to see playing in a postseason.
Well, Westside Prep, the ultimate rivalry in the Metro right there. Elkhorn South, the new kid in town in Class A. How will they look? Minus Moses Bryant. And of course, then our final game of the season, that offense of Bellevue West against the big Hog Mollies from Omaha North.
32 teams in Class A, 23 in B. Class A has expanded. For the first time in a quarter century, they revamped the classification system in the state of Nebraska because of the growth in Omaha and Lincoln. And so Elkhorn South, Elkhorn, Gretna, and Columbus all moved up to Class A. And as we were just talking with Dr. Sutphin about the Millard community that is growing, in about 5 years, you're going to have Elkhorn will have their 3rd high school. OPS will open their 8th and 9th high school right around the corner. Gretna probably will have a 2nd high school. Lincoln Public Schools will open a 7th high school. So with that, Class A has expanded, and you'll see some of the best in Class A throughout the year here on Game Time on YurView. Get a look at Jackson Wright, John. 8 carries, 121 yards. Now, we're slow to do the math, but that's got to be pretty good math there per carry. 2 touchdowns for Wright, 21-0 Millard West.
Well, certainly is. And Jackson Wright has, as I said, at one point in the first quarter, picked right up where Brody Belt left off. Those are very Belt-like numbers from a year ago, and there's got to be something done on that Millard North defense to slow him down.
Kirk Peterson, the head coach of Millard West, didn't have to make many adjustments at halftime, up 21-0. Millard North will start with the football. Kirk in his 16th year. Millard West has won 2 Class A state football championships under Dan McLaughlin in 2001 and Kirk Peterson in 2008. Sam Fetty with the second half kickoff into the nighttime sky, and it will trail into the end zone for a touchback, and Millard North will have the ball to begin the 3rd quarter at their own 20-yard line. All right, play the role of Fred Petito. What do you do at halftime? You're down 21-0 and you haven't been able to get anything going on that vaunted running game.
Well, the first thing you had to have done at halftime was tell your quarterback, stay in the pocket and get the center quarterback exchange. You cannot be putting the ball on the carpet anymore. No more. That has to end. And then they've been running inside, running inside, running inside. I'd like to see some more of those speed sweeps and that outside option game be presented here in the second half.
And not much doing on the opening carry of the second half for Tyler Ross. He has stood up by 3 Wildcats, led by Caleb Tay. Also in there, big number 66, Cole Aniello. I see 66. Boy, I start thinking of the heyday with that number. And Harrison Phillips, who went on to a storied career at Stanford, finishing his career last year, first team All Pac-12, and then was drafted early on by the Buffalo Bills. Harrison Phillips is going to make the Bills opening day roster. He's one of the good guys that we've had a chance to cover, and still stays heavily involved in his community here in Millard, and actually tweeted out words of wisdom and good luck to his Millard West mates. This will account for about 2 yards for Tyson Todd.
Well, there's the play I was asking for, the outside sweep, but linebacker flow from Millard West has been so good all night, and good again there. And the longer this goes on, Gary, the more and more it looks like, you know, you start to wonder, what is the answer for Millard North? How do you crack this Millard West defense?
3rd down and 9. That's John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. 21-0. Just underway in the 3rd quarter at Buell Stadium in Millard. It's 2 schools separated by 6.2 miles. On the scoreboard, they're separated by 3 touchdowns. Weimers, again, maybe some miscommunication in the backfield, and then he's had to scramble to make a play with not much room. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and Millard North to begin the second half, down 3 scores. There's 3 and out.
And Yellow again in there on the play, the guy we told you about in the open, and he's been really good tonight, clogging up the middle, stopping that inside run game.
He's been offered scholarships by Columbia, Cornell, Northern Iowa, South Dakota, South Dakota State.
So you're saying he's a smart guy?
He is good on and off the field. Weimers will have to punt. It's been a familiar refrain tonight. A fair catch by Kennedy is out at the 49-yard line. So we're going to look at Nate Glantz, who has led 3 touchdown drives for the Wildcats. His first pass as the starter went 42 yards to Kaedyn Odermann. And then Jackson Wright, a couple of touchdown runs. But it'll be Tristan Gomez to begin the second half. Kind of, and maybe the rotation. We saw Glantz for 2, Gomez for 2, Glantz for 2 at the end of the first half. So Tristan Gomez is in there, barks out the signals, and hands the football off to Wright, and he is not going anywhere.
And if that's a read play, which it looks like. Now we don't know what the play call is, but it certainly looks like the read play. If it was, Gomez made the wrong decision.
And Tommy Rowland got the Cliff Notes version of that read play and made the stop back at the line of scrimmage.
That's a defensive end collapsing down inside, and in that case, the quarterback's responsibility is to pull it and carry around that outside where the end came from.
Plenty of new skill positions on this Millard West roster. Man in motion. And Gomez hands it off to Wright. He's right up the middle. He's headed towards the end zone. It's a foot race. Inside of the 20, inside of the 10. A stiff arm and a touchdown for the 3rd time tonight. He goes 51. Jackson Wright.
Wow, how about thunder and lightning in one package with Jackson Wright. We've seen him run over defenders, and right there you saw him run away from 3 into the end zone, and this game just got blown wide open.
Right up the middle with some help from his friends on the offensive line. Chris All and Nate Ward.
Such a well-blocked play up front, and Wright with the patience to find the crease, and a good stiff arm on the back end to get him across the line.
Fetty's line drive splits the uprights, and Jackson Wright's got a trio of scores, and it is 28-0. Millard West with the lead. Only 3 minutes and 9 seconds into the second half.
Jackson Wright may be on his way to a 200-yard night.
What about Brody Belt, who walked on at Nebraska? 1,567 yards rushing last year, and then was really good out of the backfield catching the football, but he accounted for 26 touchdowns. And Jackson Wright has accounted for 3 of the 4 scores here tonight. I think everybody on the Millard West sideline has now come over to congratulate Jackson Wright. Why not? That's a way to kick off the 2018 season. We'll see him and his mates next week at Burke. The #1 Burke Bulldogs, who are taking on Lincoln Southeast tonight.
You talk about an embarrassment of riches over there at 120th and Dodge.
They have skill position players upon skill position players, linemen, and a ton of confidence. We'll see Burke a couple of times this year. We're really excited in our first look next week at Paul Lamanji's crew. 28-0. Now Millard North needs something, and they will start another drive at their own 20-yard line.
Now, a fun story that I learned in talking to Kirk Peterson this week was when that Burke job opened, Paul Lamanji came to him and asked, should I go for that job? And Kirk Peterson said he told him, I don't know if you should, but I think I'm going to. This was at the time when he was early in his career at Millard West, wanted to kind of change it up, wanted to get out of special education. You can read more about this in my story on YurView.com. But really considered making the move over to Burke, and then ultimately decided that no, he wanted to stay put. He liked the Millard School District, and I guess it turned out to be a pretty good decision.
It has. It has been a great run for Millard West and a great start to the 2018 season. Quick hitter for about 5 yards. Just have not on the ground as Bednar carries it. Not been on the ground, been able to get a big play. They got a big play or 2 through the air, but on the ground where Millard North makes their hay, it has not happened here tonight. Down 28-0. Next week, Millard North will take on Elkhorn South. Then they take on Millard South in week #3. Millard South won last night over Gretna. 3 really good Millard Public School teams this year. Here's a put it up, and he completes the pass, and a nice catch out of the backfield by Tyson Todd. And it is enough for a first down, and that's the first type of that play that we've seen tonight.
Bryce Dornbeer with a good tackle out there to save what was probably a touchdown if he doesn't make the play. Todd was rolling down that sideline. Nobody was going to catch him, and Dornbeer with a nice open field tackle.
Todd a little slow going back to the huddle. At kickoff, it was sunny at 88. Very, very muggy. Been cool the last couple of days here in the Metro. Had rain, a lot of it recently. This is a field turf, drains well, great shape. Relatively new field turf as Weimer's on the keeper. He tried to slide from one hole to the other and maybe got a yard. 28-0 in favor of Millard West. 9 weeks of regular season play, and then in mid-November in Lincoln Memorial Stadium is where the state championship is. Omaha North is the defending Class A champion, but they lost last night to Creighton Prep. 2 lost to 3. We will see both of those teams here soon on Game Time.
It hasn't taken Tim Young to get things rolling over there at Creighton Prep, has it?
Well, it was such a perfect fit for what that program needed, the toughness of the former Nebraska fullback. And on the pitch, going the opposite way. Good pickup for Hayden Froschheiser. His first carry of the night.
Outside run game starting to make its way in here just a little bit, and we see it almost every time we see Millard North. They pound, 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 and then suddenly the dam breaks and here comes the flood.
And we've seen it when that has happened. Then they've gone to the air once they suck you in. We'll see if that's kind of what Fred Petito and his play calling here is trying to set up, because it is 3rd down and 5 at the 41-yard line. They will put it up. Quick pass, caught short of the first down stick, but then a nice move and then a fumble.
Never saw it coming.
Raffiner caught it, made a move to try and get the first down, and then got hammered from behind. And the second turnover of the night by Millard North will give the Wildcats the football at midfield.
It's a nice catch by Raffiner, and then a good little inside-out cut, but gets hit from behind by Nick Putler. What a big break for Millard West. Just when it looked like the Mustangs were starting to march, a big turnover, and the Cats are back on offense.
Jackson Unger in the picture at defense, pitching a shutout for Millard West. They're up 28-0. They get the football back, and Nate Glances in the game at quarterback. And movement along the line of scrimmage. So be on Millard West, pushing back 5 yards. Mentioned Millard North taking on Elkhorn South in week number 2. Storm making the jump to Class A. Millard North, with their opponents' records from last year, coming into tonight, 2nd toughest schedule in Class A behind Millard South. Millard North's opponents this year on a combined 68-32 last year. So 1st down and 15, the 5-yard penalty pushed the ball back to the 45. Glantz will throw it, and it is incomplete.
Wow, that is a nice read from Glantz. He puts that ball in the air before Beanham is out of his break, and Beanham just doesn't quite get his head around quick enough to react to the football, but that's an impressive throw by a young quarterback.
We talked a lot about Jackson Wright replacing Brody Belt. Giovanni Guido was a really good signal caller for Millard West.
He was a 2-year starter, as was Brody Belt.
At a game against Omaha Bryan last year, scored 11 touchdowns on his own. 2nd down and 15. We'll see if Glantz puts it up again, up 4 scores. Play action now, rolling out against pressure, lobs it downfield, and a catch. And Hemmerderk's just knocking people aside. Steps out short of the sticks, but he's going to be a key cog in this offense this year in the passing game. Great hands, and then when you got his size, you see that he takes a couple of blows to get extra yardage.
They fake the inside run that's been there all night, and just leak Harmbergs out into the flat. That Millard North defense is so focused on Jackson Wright right now. Looks like Millard West is going away from the things that they've set up.
Consider us very impressed by Nate Glantz. They run the option, the late pitch to Wright. He is bumped out of bounds, short of the first down, so it'll be 4th down and short. We look at Kirk Peterson up and down the sidelines. Jackson Wright says, let's go for it. He said, let's go for it and give it to number 32. He's got 3 touchdowns, but you see his reaction. He kind of nods his head the wrong way as Millard West elects to punt. Now they're trying to catch Millard North with too many men on the field. They hustle their punting unit out there. Millard North is late getting set up with the right personnel. Wilbeck will punt it away. Getzman calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 14. Millard North has not had very good field position at all tonight. They will start deep in their territory again, down 28-0 with 5:47 to go in the 3rd quarter.
It's not out of reach yet, but it's leaning towards that direction. You pretty much need a touchdown right here to give yourself a chance if you're Millard North.
Last year, Millard North 5-5. A lot of sophomores played, a lot of injuries. They reinvested in the program. Got some great leaders. But here on the opening night of the season, they will have to step up even more. Down 28-0. Weimers will put it up. And the pass is incomplete. To the near side, looking for Travis Pollard. Are you looking for a new career? Explore our programs in business, health, and technology. Get going today on your career path by visiting iwcc.edu. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. John?
And as you said, Gary, you've seen Millard North going to the air a little bit more, partially because they've set it up and partially out of necessity, down 4 scores.
On the incompletion, the clock stops. Now 2nd down and 10 to the 14-yard line.
Let's go,
Millard North just hasn't been able to do much on the ground. Here, though, is a big keeper. Is barreling his way out for a 1st down. Tyler Ross out of the backfield, holding on to that football. Millard North has turned it over twice tonight, but he wasn't going to let anybody stop him before Ross picks up 17.
Yeah, Ross, big body fullback, running through tackles, finding some open space, and a good positive start to this drive for the Mustangs.
Tyler Ross, senior fullback, 6'1", 220. 6'1", 220. You're playing that position. Weimers is hit as he let it go from the backside. He never saw that coming, and his pass sails harmlessly out of bounds.
And that's Cundiff coming off the edge. A blindside rush in, beats his man, and bang, right in the back.
2nd down and 10. We could run through a long, long list of some of the great names that have played here at Millard North. We mentioned Eric Crouch earlier, Sean, Cole Fisher, Nick DeLuca, Jacob Matthew.
Those are just the recent ones.
Yeah. Those 4 recently on the Super 6. The top 6 players in the state in the preseason, according to the World Herald, as Fred Petito will call timeout. Down 28-0. He'll bring the offense over to try and figure out what to do as 2nd down and 10 is upcoming when you return to Buell Stadium. This is Game Time on YurView.
And make your mark by making Millard a better place for someone around you.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
Iowa Western has the career choices that fit your busy schedule. Come to campus, study online, or enroll in evening classes now. Visit iwcc.edu. Iowa Western. The world is waiting. I'm John Schreiner. I'm Gary Sharp. 28-0, 5.5 to go in the third quarter. On second down, Wingers keeps it. They're pulling it out of the belly of the fullback. And he gets 3 yards, and it'll be third down and long once again for the Mustangs. Bryce Dornbeer with the tackle. Boy, Millard West every single year on the 3 levels on defense, their body types, they all kind of look the same. They have an amazing strength and conditioning program.
It's a point of emphasis.
And a head coach that on an 88-degree night is in long sleeves and a sweater vest. That's a familiar look for Coach Peterson.
That's his game day uniform right there.
Very happy with the debut. The third down pass is incomplete, skipped along the turf here at Buell Stadium, and Millard North will have to punt the football again. John, some surprising opening week results. Games that are in the third quarter around the Metro that you had a chance to check in on.
Yeah, saw the West Side Bellevue East score West Side up big, 45-0 at last check. And Omaha Burke up big in their game, also 42-7. So a couple of teams from right here in the Metro taking care of business. Teams that we expect to be good, and a pair of teams we're going to see down the road.
Going to be a great year in the Metro. And the snap is high, and Weavers just barely gets it away. Kennedy calls a fair catch and comes up to corral it. There is a flag down way behind the play. Sean Flanagan almost blocked that punt. Sean Johnson calls a penalty. It is on Millard North. It is declined by Millard West. And the Wildcats, behind 3 rushing touchdowns from Jackson Wright, will take over, up 28-0 at their own 38-yard line.
That's kind of last chance saloon here for Millard North. If you don't come up with a stop on this defensive possession, it's might be time to turn the lights out. I know we still have a full quarter of football to play, plus a little, but the way that Millard West has looked both offensively and defensively tonight, right here, this is the last straw.
Tristan Gomez is back in the game at quarterback, and he keeps it in the belly of Jackson Wright, who drove all kinds of attention, and then Gomez squirts out to the 41 for a pickup of 4 yards. Since we turned to the 2000s, a Mustang is down. Looks like a cramping issue. There have been 18 Class A finals, so you have 36 teams.
Sure.
15 of those 18 or 36 teams haven't been a Millard team. You have Millard West that has been there twice, or been there twice to win a title, twice as a runner-up. Millard South has won a title, twice as a runner-up. Millard North, 5 titles, 3 as a runner-up. So it gives you an indication of how good the football is in this community. And Millard South went through a growing phase, a young team we saw a couple of years ago when Andy Means had to play a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Well, now they're a couple of years older, and Millard South is one of the top teams in the Metro. And of course, both of these teams are going to be right there at the end of October.
Well, you said it, this Millard School District, before sort of the resurgence of Omaha North, this is where the championships were landing. You have a pop-up from Lincoln South East. You have a pop-up from an Omaha Burke appearing in a championship game. But for a good portion of the 2000s, one of the 3 teams in this district was getting it done. And it all started with their youth feeder programs. Each high school had youth programs, middle school programs that fed right into their high school programs, and they were just light years ahead of everybody else in the Metro. OPS got on board, started the middle school football program, and it's done wonders for that school district as well.
On Monday night, cramps for Matt Getzman. He was able to walk off to the sidelines. 2nd down and 6. Tristan Gomez. The high snaps out of his hands, and now he flips it out of the backfield, and this could end up, looked like it was going to be for positive yardage as he flipped it ahead to Beanham, but then Beanham was knocked down for a pickup of about 2 yards. Could have been first turnover of the night for Millard West, but Gomez, when you're 6'4", he kind of got the tip on the rebound.
It was high and hot, and you got to be pretty high to get it over the head of Tristan Gomez, who, as you said, is 6'4" back there.
And we don't see, especially in high school, many quarterbacks that are 6'4". They're tight ends or playing on the offensive line with some more weight on them. Not Tristan Gomez, who now faces 3rd down and 8 against this Millard North defense. He slings it out to the far side. Beanham catches it, trying to backpedal to the sticks. And on the second effort, he falls forward for a 1st down. How about that play?
And that breakdown in coverage out there for Millard North. Had a 3rd and long situation. All he had to do was keep the man in front. And nobody picked up Beanham. Backs his way into the defender and falls across the line to keep the drive alive. And more importantly, the clock keeps rolling.
28-0 in favor of Millard West. It was 21-0 at halftime. Wildcats scored on their first 2 possessions of the game. Heck, they scored on the 3rd play of the season. New set of downs to work with for Tristan Gomez. Hands it off to Wright. Sidesteps a tackle and then falls across midfield for a pickup of 4. Wright already with 3 touchdowns and nearing 200 yards on the ground tonight. That'll help.
You know,
2nd down.
One of the things that has impressed me about Jackson Wright, he's got a pretty upright running style, but still manages to be falling forward through contact. He finishes runs really well, almost despite the way he runs.
And we see a lot of running backs in this area that do that. Ducker at Bellevue West, Luke Sims at Prep, Xander Gray at North. Gomez will fire it deep down the field, and it is incomplete.
A taste of that arm strength from Gomez, that long delivery. Loads up and fires one out there for Beanham. Had him. Beanham had a step. Just couldn't quite haul it in.
And his older brother Colby, who's now at Nebraska on a baseball scholarship, he could throw it with some mustard. Now his younger brother trying to show off his arm. We'll probably see it again. 3rd down and 6. Yard into Millard North territory. 28-0 in favor of the Wildcats in the opening night of the high school season. 9 months without us. What'd you do? Play action. Gomez under pressure. Lobs it up to Wright. Wright trying to get room. Sidesteps one tackler. He's got a 1st down and much more before Getzman knocks him out of bounds.
The big man showing the feet. Look at that. Man comes back with a little hot foot celebration.
That square dance class that Jackson Wright takes. This really helps him here.
This is
cha-cha-cha.
One-on-one in the open field with Bednar. Bednar got a fistful of nothing.
I think Jackson Wright's name will come up at the end of the game tonight. I'm going to just go out on a limb a little bit with 2:02 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Good chance at that.
Probably a good chance they'll put it in his belly here. He's got 3 touchdowns, 3 of the 4 scores. This time, Wright will maybe add a yard or 2 or 3 to his rushing total. Again, as John mentioned, he falls forward. We're gonna see a lot of running backs in the Metro as now Wright's. Boy, it's 88 degrees, coach. I've been carrying the ball all night. Tapped his helmet. But we're going to see a lot of running backs that are taught that way to fall forward.
I think his request to tap out was denied from the sideline because there's nobody coming in for him.
And he's like, okay. 2nd down and 11. He says, Tristan, this might be a good opportunity to throw the ball again. 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Right on the hip of Gomez, and Gomez will put it up. Steps into it, lobs it deep into the nighttime sky, and trying to run underneath of it was Odermann. Just out of his reach. Odermann caught a 42-yard touchdown pass in the 3rd play of the game.
Yeah, good protection back there. Nice tight spiral thrown out there, just a little bit too far for Odermann.
Had a couple of steps on the defensive back, Kaedyn. Now as this game moves along, nearing the end of the third quarter, you see, especially on Millard North, their defense has been out there for a while. A lot of guys have been over trying to catch that extra breath. Their jerseys are soaked. Gomez under pressure. Now he's going to scramble. He's got some room. He asks Odermann to set a block, and Gomez may have scrambled for a first down. It will be close. At 6'4", he stepped up in the pocket, couldn't find anybody, and took off. So he's not just a 6'4" junior with an arm. He can scramble a little bit. He's going to be a yard or two shy with 61 seconds left in the third quarter, and they're going to go for it on 4th down and 2. Is the scrambling ability of Tristan Gomez.
Yeah, it's a good read there. Nothing open. Calls for the block on the edge. And gets out of bounds. Just came up a couple of yards short.
First time tonight, Millard West going for it on 4th down. They hand it off to Wright. Smart decision. And it's a first down by a yard.
Jackson Wright, who a couple of plays ago was asking to come out of the game, not asking for it now. Just picked up a big first down, wants to stay in there.
Millard West, preseason number 7. You're in a district with Grand Island, Lincoln East, Lincoln North Star, and Omaha Bryan. We'll see him next week against Burke. I'm sure this result will make some intrigue at Burke. Gomez to throw towards the end zone. Touchdown. Beanham went up. Played his man well, but he played his man well because he went with a 2-hand shove in the back.
I think that's what they're going to call as offensive pass interference.
Much to the dismay of the student section across the way, as you would imagine. That is exactly what it is. I know it's a new year, but they have not changed that rule. You cannot do that.
Beanham kind of
It's going to sell it a little bit better.
Came over the top with the hands posted on the shoulders of the defensive back. Contrary to what you might think, you can't do that.
Yeah, we're going to catch Mr. Beanham, right?
Yeah, just a little grab of the jersey.
I take that back. I said 2-hand. I will say a hand and a half.
It's maybe a little bit ticky-tack. Looks a little different in slow motion. And Beanham says, hey, what did I do?
But how about the arm of Gomez?
He's looked better throwing the ball here in the second half.
I think he's got his legs underneath of him in the first game that he's played at quarterback. And now a screen, they had it set up, but now the pressure is on and Gomez gets rid of it. He just waited about a half a second too long. Mustang down.
The other thing that Kirk Peterson told us before this game was Tristan Gomez hasn't played football in a year and 3 months. Had a pretty nasty broken leg and had to sit out all of last season, so he's still getting his sea legs under him.
Yeah, he would have played as a backup last year. So this is a good problem to have. Some coaches look around in the college game, they have 2 quarterbacks, and they're thinking, is that a good problem to have? Some coaches will say, John, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
You don't have one.
I think that's old. I don't hear a lot of quarterback coaches these days that have 2 really good quarterbacks say that. They're like, we got 2 quarterbacks that can help us win. And Kirk Peterson definitely thinks that way. As Tommy Rowland, again, we're seeing as we do usually in week 1, week 2, when it's still very, very hot and humid in Nebraska, cramping issues. Rowland will come over to the sidelines and they'll work out those legs before he goes back in. 24 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Stay tuned at the end of the game tonight. We've got a lot for you. We'll chat with the victorious team. We'll have some stats, some highlights. John will give his expert analysis that he has actually won awards for throughout the YurView network. It's true. Just look at the website. Play action. Gomez zips one downfield and just out of reach of the diving wide receiver.
I think the only awards I've won for my expert analysis were signed by Gary Sharp.
Well, that's all that matters, and all of our viewers every Friday night.
There you go.
Yeah. Look at Tristan Gomez. And a play brought in from the sidelines. 28-0 Millard West. It has been all Wildcats here tonight. And Millard West and Burke is our game next week. 7 o'clock airtime. Play action again. Gomez, plenty of time. Zips the ball straight down the field towards the end zone. Odermann was there, but the ball was knocked away, and then a flag follows. And pass interference one time on Millard West. Pass interference here on Millard North.
That was what I was signaling. It looked like over the back by the defensive back, and that is the call. I think, at least to some degree, Gary, our questions pregame about who was going to be the offensive producer for Millard West have been answered to some degree. Wide receivers have looked capable when they've had opportunities, and certainly Jackson Wright has turned in performance tonight.
Well, there wasn't contact. Caleb Munger almost made a great play for Millard North, coming across to swat that ball away. So it's a 15-yard penalty, and Millard West is sitting in some good position at the 26-yard line. So they have a first down. The last play of the third quarter. And a new running back in the game. And a quick carry by Ethan Valencia. Garner almost 10 yards. Jackson Wright with 3 touchdowns rushing, and Valencia with a big kick, a big carry that brings us to the end of the third quarter. Boy, he's excited going off the field in his first high school carry. It has been all Millard West through 3 quarters. The Mustangs 28, Millard North. The Wildcats 28, Millard North nothing. Back with the fourth quarter after this. Game time on YurView from Buell Stadium.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to take classes I need, spend less time working to pay for them. I want flexibility to transfer my credits. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
You're the decision maker, weighing every option to make the smartest choice. That's why you start with Nebraska Medicine, an entire network of top providers working together to keep you healthy. From extraordinary primary care to world-leading research and treatments, so you can be confident everyone's health is in good hands. The state's most comprehensive care in 19 locations. Nebraska Medicine.
Touchdown.
And as we return, it's 35-0. Jacob Hammerdick with his touchdown, 35 yards, and it is the 5th score of the night for Millard West.
And after this PAT, we will see the clock run and run and run.
Lethal offense tonight for the Wildcats. Sam Fetty will come in to try and make it 35-0 on the first play of the fourth quarter.
A lethal offense, but they haven't even needed to score as much as they have with the way that defense has played.
High snap, and the placement, and the kick is good. And it is 35-0 in favor of Millard West. 9 seconds into the fourth quarter. The Reavers are back in action this season. You can follow Iowa Western's championship sports teams, including football and volleyball, at GoReavers.com. Iowa Western, the world is waiting. When this night began, it was light outside. And there were about 7,500 here in Buell Stadium, and now we start to see fans on the blue side of the field head for the exits All the Millard West students, they are sticking around. They're enjoying this one tonight. Last year they won this game to kick off the season 49-16 against their rivals and are up 35-0. And all of a sudden next week it's very, very intriguing for Millard West and Burke. That is our game of the week. As we welcome our viewers not only back for another season here in Omaha, Nebraska area, but Iowa, New England, Ohio, Virginia, Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arizona, California, Nevada, Idaho. We are everywhere, man.
We certainly are.
Throughout our network. We welcome you into high school football in the state of Nebraska. Class A, the largest classification. Here it's 35-0 Millard West as Getzman with the kickoff return all the way out to the 25-yard line. And in Nebraska, where nowadays there are more 6- and 8-man teams, 139 compared to 137 11-man teams. The largest class, 32 schools, Class A. It is the boys' enrollment 10th, 11th, and 12th of 425 or more gets you into Class A.
It's pretty astonishing, the growth in Gretna and Elkhorn. Those were, when I was in school nearly 20 years ago now, those were Class B teams, and I went to a Class B school. My school is still firmly planted at the bottom of Class B, and those two have now just moved up into A.
Bednard trying to do anything to get extra yardage. A nice 9-yard carry as he ricocheted off a couple of Wildcats. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Not only great on the football field, other extracurricular activities for Millard Public Schools, but Millard North named the #1 public high school in the state of Nebraska by Niche. For college readiness, graduation rates, SAT and ACT scores, and the quality of teachers, Millard North #1. Millard West is #5 in the state of Nebraska. Millard is the 3rd largest school district in the state, and a 1st down carry. Quarterback keeping it. So down 35-0. Sarcastic cheer from the Millard North crowd. Now this is where you're starting to build for next week, and the following week, try and end this game with some positivity. Also, because of the temperature, we've now seen the Millard North coaching staff. They are rotating a lot of players, especially along that offensive line. New set of downs, 1st down and 10. 38, 35-0 in favor of Millard West. And Weimers is going nowhere. Clogged up in the backfield.
That midline option, which is one of the bread and butter plays of this offense, where the quarterback sticks the ball in the fullback's belly, and then if it's not there, he follows him right up into the hole. It just has not been there at all. I don't think they've gained a single yard on that midline option play tonight.
And that is a play that we know that when we come watch Millard North play, that will go for a big game. Great job by the Millard West defensive line. This is Millard North team, a program that been in the playoffs 22 of the last 23 years. And a pitch is on the turf. And a fumble recovered by Millard North. It was a late pitch, should have held on to it. Instead pitched it to the carpet. And even though you just saw in your picture there, Millard West came up with the football, we've learned tonight that it was Millard North football.
Yeah, a few years ago, I mean, how many times did we see Isaac Ockery, Ethan Morrison take that midline option and just house it from everywhere on the field? Used to seeing that play have a lot more success. Fred Petito's Millard North teams.
Clock running 35-0 in favor of Millard West. Wildcats were up 21-0 at halftime. Here's the pitch. Todd running to the outside, cutting it back, and then he lost it, but he fell right on top of it at the 35-yard line. All of that maneuvering by Todd, it grabs him 5 yards, and it'll be 4th down. Millard North will have to punt the football.
I can see Millard North's Monday practice being heavily emphasized on ball security, because they have put the ball on the turf, whether it be the center quarterback exchange or just open field going into contact. They've put it on the ball way too many times tonight, and I'm sure Fred Petito feels exactly the same way.
And that defense, which is about worn out, they're going to have to go right back out on the field. Wiemers with the punt, and he's run into. There's going to be a flag. This will come back. It's Kaedyn Odermann. I beg your pardon. Got in there. That is the personal foul kind. Odermann tried to block it, and then once he didn't get it, he knew he was in trouble. Ran into Wiemers. It's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be a new set of downs for Millard North. And those linemen who were on the sidelines, we see plenty of Millard North players that are being attended to by the training staff due to cramping issues. They got to get up off the turf and come back in, and you're going to see the collision here for the penalty.
Yeah, and the mistake Odermann makes there is the mistake a lot of young players make when they're going in to try and block a punt. He's going for where the ball is, not where the ball is going to be. You've got to dive out in front of that ball, get in front of the punter's foot where it's going to, not get into the body.
Millard West starting the year with their rival Millard North. Burke next week, and then they take on Omaha North. And Wiemers with a good carry. That's almost a first down. That's that quarterback play. You got to take some hits. They'll get 8 on this carry as the clock continues to run, down 35-0.
It's the best one of those we've seen tonight for Millard North. That quarterback keeper, about a 7-8 yard gain.
6'1", 180. Senior comes up to the line of scrimmage. Bednar directly behind him. Second down and short. And Wiemers keeps it, and he lost it, but it'll be recovered by Millard North. It will be for a first down. Yeah, practice will be exactly like you mentioned on Monday for Millard North.
There will be some ball security drills. I think you can bank on that.
These two teams met in the state final in 2015. Millard North won that game 21-14. And the toss to the near side. Scheiser with his second carry of the night. Hits him. Yardage to the 32. Millard North shut out right now.
This is a big hit by Dornpier out there. You hear the pads cracking on that one.
Yeah, Millard West pipeline, they're big and physical every single year. Quarterback keeper, that's a first down. Now into territory where Millard North hasn't been all night long. The clock continues to roll down 35-0.
Now I was just going to mention, Gary, in a lot of games you can point to some missed opportunities where a team, they were going in to score and they didn't, and that led to a blowout. This isn't one of those games. There haven't been those opportunities for Millard North. They've just been completely shut down by this physical attacking defense from Millard West.
First down and 10 at the 22-yard line.
That's an illegal motion penalty.
So that will come back, negating the carry by Bednar. Stay tuned at the end of the game. We'll have our play of the game, or player of the game. We also can practice our reading of lips. Sean Johnson, our referee, that penalty will push the ball back. Clock stop, 4:14 to go in the game, 35-0. Millard West leading Millard North. Millard West Burke on Game Time next Friday at 7 o'clock from Burke High. Tell your friends, tell your friends. That'll be a good one. Fires, keeps it, and he is brought down immediately. And again, way up at our location, you can hear the pads popping. Joe Burton, Sean Flanagan lining for the tackle. If you like recruiting, you know about Jeremy Crabtree. We're so excited he's back for another year with YurView's high school football recruiting podcast. He's joined by Max Olson from The Athletic this week. Talking about Texas recruiting, SEC, Alabama, Georgia, Jason Brown, just to name a few. All that and more in this week's podcast. Check it out on YurView.com. Another flag down on the play. And if you are into recruiting, as another Mustang is down due to cramping issue, the penalty is on Millard North. Next week is your week. You will see two of the better players in the Midwest. Nick Henrich for Omaha Burke and Chris Hickman. While the Millard North player is attended to on the field. We'll step aside. 3:16 to go from Buell Stadium. Millard West 35, Millard North nothing. You're listening. Game Time on YurView.
Tonight's Game Time play of the game is brought to you by Cox Business Security. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
This is Rose. Rose was destined to be different, to be a small business owner. She chose Cox Business because we're different too. We got to know Rose. And while she likes to take risks in the kitchen, we made it easy to keep an eye on safety. It's just another way we do business differently. Cox Business Security Solutions.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
The band for Millard North. Matter they're down 35-0. This is their season opener. Play to a packed house at Buell Stadium. All Millard West tonight. A lot of Jackson Wright in there. The running back for the Wildcats. Rumors to throw it, and it's going nowhere as he was hit as he threw it by Nate Pesic. Clock, with the deficit being 35 points, continues to run. And it will be third down. Stay tuned into the game. We'll have our player of the game, play of the game, much more. Get you ready for next week, week number 2. You've enjoyed it, you'll come back again a week from tonight, and you'll want to. Burke and this Millard West team, which we knew something about, maybe not fully. They are your typical Millard West team again.
First, take a look at our schedule and say, oh, they're getting the marquee game out of the way early, but look up and down that thing, and you tell me which is the marquee game on our schedule this year.
And the pass is broken up, intended for Tyler Runnels. Carson Scharf with the pass breakup, and it will be fourth down now. Millard North cannot get a first down. That will pretty much be the end of the evening here at Buell Stadium.
I gotta say, this is not at all how I expected this game to go. But Millard West has been more than impressive.
Pass caught, will be short of the first down. As Travis Pollard hauls it in. And stopped by Millard West, and they are going to preserve a opening night shutout. A lot of excitement over the Millard West sidelines. Disappointed on the Millard North sidelines, but everybody knows this is week number 1. The Wildcats will, for another year, hold the victory over Millard North. Last year, Millard West went 9-2. They've won a playoff game 6 straight years. Up 35-0. 90 seconds to go. Tristan Gomez back into the game. Good problem to have for Kirk Peterson. Nate Glantz, very, very impressive tonight. now we've seen as he's gotten comfortable, Tristan Gomez. This carry's going nowhere. A couple more plays and then we'll be done. Again, a big thanks to all of you that joined us tonight. We also want to say a big thanks for Nolan Byer from Millard Public Schools, Chad Zimmerman, who's the athletic director of Millard North, and also the activity secretary, Kathy Folk, who was a big help for all of our crew preparing for our season opener. And a look at it. Pretty excited Millard West sideline. They were all business tonight. Nate Glantz facing our camera there. Final play of the game. There's a flag down. And eventually Valencia goes down. Clock is stopped on the penalty. Personal foul on Millard West. Read the lips, chop block. So we will have one more play.
Good night for Kirk Peterson. Starting off the season with a big victory over a ranked team in Millard North. I'm sure his team will be happy winning the crosstown rivalry.
That picture right there, that is a comfortable Kirk Peterson. He is going to enjoy this one. He's not going to take out the headset. Oh, there, we just caught him. He's finally decided this will be the final play of the game. He has to enjoy what his team did here tonight on both sides of the ball. We're going to get out of here with a 35-0 victory. Final play. Valencia on the carry, brought down, and this one belongs to Millard West. From start to finish, impressive night for the Wildcats. Millard West is Kirk Peterson. Walk across the field to shake hands for the 17th time in the regular season with Fred Petito. Both of these coaches then will go back to work and prepare for week number 2. Millard West 35, Millard North nothing to kick off our season here on Game Time. Hey, straight ahead we will have a chat with a member of the Millard West football team, also our play of the game, and much more stats and analysis and a preview of what's to come next week. We get Millard West and Omaha Burke. Again, the final score tonight from Buell Stadium to kick off the 2018 season. Millard West 35, Millard North nothing. We're back with more on our postgame after this. This is Game Time on YurView.
Tonight's Game Time player of the game is brought to you by Iowa Western. The world is waiting. Check out the stories behind the games all season long. Visit YurView.com.
Now at H&H, Factory Direct Clearance Pre-Owned. As a new car dealer, we get access to Factory Direct used vehicles before the public. And we just got a shipment at all 3 locations. Visit hhautomotive.com and click Factory Direct to see them all. Deals like this 2017 Camry, only $16,000. We're passing the savings on to you at all 3 H&H locations. Or shop online, hhautomotive.com.
Okay, it's decision time. I want to experience a 4-year college in 2 years. I want to live on campus, but get to my career faster. I want to get started now. Find your path at iwcc.edu and get hands-on, real-world experience. Start now at Iowa Western.
You're watching Game Time on YurView. For more in-depth coverage of the top players around, recruiting updates, behind-the-scenes access, and more, check out YurView.com.
At halftime, this is a Millard West team, and a lot of the things they do offensively and defensively, John, look very, very familiar to a lot of the teams in his 16 years as the head coach.
Well, and coming into this one, kind of both teams here tonight, we didn't exactly know what we were going to get, and what we got out of Kirk Peterson's bunch was just vintage Wildcat football. They dominant up front on both lines, a good running back, and solid quarterback play. Calm, cool, collected, and they come out with a big win.
And that really good running back is Jackson Wright, who had 3 rushing touchdowns tonight. Breaking in a couple of new quarterbacks. And here is what Wright did out of the backfield. Our player of the game. Team rushes 179 yards and 3 scores.
Shiftier than you might expect when you look at his body type. Looks like he might be a rumbler, but he's got those good feet. And there you see the breakaway speed from the big fella. Just an all-around impressive performance tonight, Jackson Wright, and that's why he's our player of the game.
We're going to talk to Millard West head coach Kirk Peterson here in a moment. He was in a really good mood before the game. He came up and actually gave John and I a bear hug, gave me a pair of shorts. So he's in a really good mood, and he's getting him all set up. But again, 35-0 Millard West over Millard North, as Millard West now will get ready to take on Omaha Burke. We'll have the Wildcats again next week, as Millard North will take on Elkhorn South. But week number 1 is over. Pretty impressive performance by Millard West tonight, 35-0, and their head coach Kirk Peterson joins us now down on the field. Coach, congratulations. This night, what were some of the positives that you took away early on in this game?
I think we're still getting Coach set up down on the field here.
Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can't believe you're going to make me try to climb those stairs.
Well, when you win 35-0, we thought you'd come up here and join us. But nice effort tonight on all 3 phases. What stood out to you throughout the course of this 35-0 victory?
I've never been so terrified of us punting the football than I've been in my 16 years as a head coach. We were making jokes that we weren't going to average 15 yards a punt. So to come out and not get anything bad happen on special teams, I'm just ecstatic about that. Obviously, it's never as good as what it seems. We're going to look at film tomorrow, and we've got a tall task next week. Hopefully, we just play better than we did tonight.
Hey, Coach, your defensive line did such a nice job of stopping the inside run game for Millard North tonight. Can you just speak to that a little bit? Did you know they were going to be that good?
Well, I don't know if I want to call them good yet, but they're big bodies that can move. So I like where we started, and I hope that was an attention getter for the one young man that didn't play tonight. And I think we can be a heck of a lot better. So it's a great start. Like I told the kids, I said it beats the alternative. As a defense, that's only the 2nd time in our school's history that we've ever shut them out. So that's pretty sweet. Good way to start for us.
What did you like in particular about your 2 young quarterbacks in this game?
Nate did a good job of just kind of keeping composure. I've got a nickname for him. I call him Freelance once in a while. He gets to running around a little bit like it's a backyard game, and I thought he did a good job of not doing that. Once Tristan got settled down, he got in there and wouldn't pull the trigger on a couple throws. He did that a little better in the second half. We just missed a couple fade balls there in the 4th quarter that were just off our receivers' tips. And so we've got a nice problem there at quarterback. So I think they both did a good job.
Kirk, thank you. Congratulations. We'll see you next week against
All right, guys.
Burke.
Sounds good.
That's Kirk Peterson, head football coach at Millard West, 35-0 as the Wildcats shut out the Mustangs for one of the rare shutouts in this series between these 2 programs. Let's take a look at the play of the game. In this victory for Millard West, they pitch a shutout and you get a defensive turnover.
Yeah, just an all-around great defensive performance. Really secure on the back end, and that was a turning point in this game when Millard North looked like they were going to start driving down the field, maybe get themselves back into this game. And Millard West defense comes up with a big interception to shut down all momentum and went on to preserve the shutout.
35-0 Millard West over Millard North. Coming up next week, we will be right back with you from Burke High. The number 1 team in Class A, the Burke Bulldogs, will take on these Millard West Wildcats. 35-0 here tonight at Buell Stadium to kick off the 2018 season. For John Schreiner, our entire YurView broadcast team, I'm Gary Sharp saying good night from Buell Stadium, where again the final score, Millard West 35, Millard North nothing. You can watch this entire game on replay. Just log on to YurView.com. We'll see you for week number 2 at Burke next week. 7 o'clock airtime for Burke and Millard West. Good night from Millard.
Game Time high school football action on YurView has been brought to you by Iowa Western, the world is waiting, and by Cox Business Security. Join us all fall long for some of the top high school football from around the country on Game Time. For in-depth interviews, behind-the-scenes coverage, recruiting updates, and more, be sure to visit YurView.com, your home for high school football.